Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Stationeers. Alright, so last time we upgraded some solar panels. Well, specifically, we put in free advanced solar panels, and we put in a system to tell the solar panels to track the sun. And so that is what they are doing. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to be generating more power probably than what we're going to be consuming, because in addition to our free advanced solar panels, we still have these two basic solar panels here. And so we're going to hook them up to the power here as well. Right now they're just running everything as they were before. But combined, we're going to be having free solar panels here. Of course, these two are not going to be as efficient as the advanced, but we might as well have them here for now. But we're going to be probably generating more power than we're actually going to be able to use. And so all that power is just going to go to waste. So today what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to, let me take this copper here because we're going to need more copper. We're going to be making a battery that can store all that. And when I say a battery, we've been using these battery cells here. No, we're going to get a bigger battery, all right? So if we go into the electronics printer and we type battery, you'll find kit battery, all right? And it's going to take 20 grams of gold, 20 grams of copper, and 20 grams of steel. Now, I do have enough steel for this, but it's not in this machine right now. In fact, actually, I probably should just do this so that we have it ready there. I've moved the steel over here. So let's go ahead and turn this on, because in addition to construct the battery, we're also going to need 2 steel sheets. All right, so each steel sheet takes 0.5 grams of steel. And I've been using grams again. I refuse to acknowledge this as a gram, because there's no way you can take 0.5 grams of steel and make a steel sheet that's able to cover, as much as it does in this game. So we have to kind of suspend our sense of, our reality there for this game when it comes to that. Now, the reason why I didn't just break off some steel and put it in the machine is in between videos, the game has updated. And we can no longer split the ingots here. We can no longer split them. So we got to just take the whole amount and move it around here. So let's go ahead now and construct our battery kit here. While it's doing that, I've already gone forward and I've welded up some plates here and stuff. Not some plates, some frames, so that we can work and build here. So we've expanded a little bit this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to hook up the solid fuel generator here. So we're going to place this right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our cable here. Let me turn on the flashlight so I can see. We're going to run the cable like so. Alright, just like that. And then we're going to put a 90 there. And I think that's all we need. So we are done with this cable for now. We don't need to print any more of the regular cable that we've been using, because we're going to be needing something a little bit more beefy. So we're about almost halfway done with the making of the battery. It takes a little bit of time. So the battery is going to have an output for it, and it's going to have an input, and it's going to have a data connection. You'll see this more later once we have the actual battery. But the battery, it will technically output as much power as it can, all right? In fact, the power can easily exceed the 5,000 watt limit of the cables we're using. Now, how much it puts out is somewhat limited there based off of there is some supply and demand type thing. It can't output more power than what it has in terms of wattage, but it can output more than what your cables can do there based on some demand factors. I'm not going to get into exactly how that function works, but as a rule of thumb, you do not want to use your regular cable here off of a battery like this, okay? Do not do it, because there's a good chance that at some point it will overload the cable. You'll have too much power and the cable will fry. Now, this is where it becomes important to talk about a few things. First, let's go ahead and just install the battery here. So as you can see, we got an output and a data connection on this side of it, and on this side we have an input. We also have actually a little power switch here, so let me go ahead and install it. We'll put it right there next to the generator. To finish construction, we need our 2 steel sheets and a torch. Let's go ahead and turn on the welding torch. There we go. Put that away. And we're going to finish it off with a screwdriver. Boom, there's our battery. Now, if we turn on this little switch here, you'll see it's flashing red now here. That means the battery is charging here. This also gives you an idea of how much charge you have on the battery there. So there's 5 levels of it. All right, so each level is basically 20%. But the flashing red there means that we haven't got 10%, okay? So when this turns solid red, we have 10% of this battery charged, okay? If we open up the Stationpedia and we type in battery, you will see that it's under station battery here. You will see that it has a capacity of 3,600,000 watts of power. That's quite a bit because even the large cell battery, where is it? Probably should just finish typing it. Large cell, there we are. The large cell battery only has 288 kilowatts of power there, so 288,000 watts of power. So 3 million and something versus 288. I think we'll have quite a bit more power with this. Now, talking about that cabling though, there's something else we're going to need here for this to be successful. One of the things we're going to need is, and I hate calling it this, but a transformer. In fact, we're going to make 2 of these transformers. Each transformer takes 10 iron, 1 gold, and 3 copper. So we're going to make 2 transformers. There's more to them than meets the eye. I couldn't help it, sorry. I've been very punny lately in my videos. Anyways, so there's a reason why I say I hate calling them transformers. Let's go ahead and build those up there. And let's go ahead and start making the cable as well while I explain this. So what we're going to make is heavy cable. And the difference between a heavy cable and the regular cable is that it is actually going to take 0.5 units of gold as well as the 0.5 units of copper there. So it's only a little bit more expensive, but this basically has a much higher limit of power that it's able to withstand. And so you may have recalled from at some point, I think I discussed what is power. First of all, let's talk about the transformer here, and then we'll get into the power here. So the transformer comes in, you have 4 options here. The only difference is that this one, the power output is on the left and the input is on the right, whereas the 2 of 4, which is the one we want, the power input is on the left and it outputs to the right. So we're going to install 2 of these, one here and one up here. All right. Let's see here. How many cables do we have? That's a pretty good amount. I think we need like 12 of these, so we just need a couple more. Basically, you have the input over here. We have a power switch here. We have the output over here, and we have a dial. And the dial is going to dictate how much power is output from the transformer. Now, this, if you know anything about electronics, you'll quickly be understanding why I do not like calling this a transformer. This is not a transformer. What a transformer does is it steps up or steps down the voltage. All right, it does not actually affect the amount of power, because power is calculated by taking the voltage times the current. All right. So if we increase the voltage, the power remains the same. What is actually happening is by increasing the voltage, we decrease the current, because voltage times current equals power, okay? So power does not actually change as with a transformer. So a better term for this would be a power limiter, all right? If you wanted to call it something in the game, because that's what we're actually doing, is we're setting the limit. It's a maximum amount of power in watts that is able to be output through this output here. So this limits the amount of power that is provided. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our cable here and we're going to run it. And it works just like the regular cable here. I think it's more than 10 we needed. Now, actually, it might have been 12 just to get to the first box there. Yeah, I'm thinking it was 12 to get to the first box. The only real difference between these cables, because they behave, you know, placement-wise, hang on, they behave, it's been a while since I played the game. I've been doing all these demos, so I've forgotten how to rotate the cables. Yeah, it's 12 to get to there, so we need a further 3, I think it is. We get these fancy junction boxes with these cables. So yeah, we're going to need an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. So let's go ahead and make 4 more of these. Let's start printing 4 more. Yeah, that's the only real difference between the cables here, other than the fact that these can withstand more than 5,000 watts of power. And that even in of itself shows kind of a falsehood in this game, because it's not technically the power there that you're worried about with the cable, it's the current. But we don't actually make, in this game, you don't actually have to figure out current and voltage and resistance and stuff. If the current is not able to, if the current is too high for the cable, then that's when you're going to have cables having problems there, all right? The best way to understand those three is voltage is like the pressure, current is, as it says, the flow, and resistance is what is in the way of said flow, and is the pressure able to, move and stuff. That's a better way of thinking things here. But in this scenario, yeah, each solar panel is now able to generate their wattage. It's going to be stored in the battery. The battery, as you can see, we've already charged the battery up quite a bit there. The battery is going to take the power here. It's going to provide it to the transformers, or the power limiter as it really is, because we're not doing anything to the voltage here. Power remains constant in this equation. We're not actually doing anything that's going to generate more power or generate less power here. What we're doing is we're controlling the amount of power that's able to be output to these boxes here. So what we need to do is a couple things here before we can actually start running off the battery, because right now we're not actually running off the battery here. You can see that that's flashing blue-red. We haven't turned these on, and I'm not going to turn this on quite yet. First of all, this one's not hooked up. Second of all, there's a couple things we want to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this wire down to here. All right, and I'm actually going to add one here so that this becomes a straight section like this. And what we can do now is we can actually take our battery charger here, the small battery charger. We're going to actually put this right up there. So now, coming right off of the transformer, we're going to take power from that. So we're never going to discharge from this battery here. So we can take our batteries and plug them in here now. Great. In fact, I actually need to swap my batteries here. All right, there we go. We should really make another large cell battery while we're at it, but that can wait. So this is all set up. So now what I can do is I can actually set the amount of power that I want to provide to all this stuff here. So we'll go ahead and set, okay, you can use up to 2,000 watts of power here. That's a good number for starting. Remember, this number should never go above 5,000. If it goes above 5,000, then you're going to risk frying cables there. So if it's set at 2,000, we're going to turn it on here. And if you look, this is now flashing blue-green, which means we are drawing power from the battery, all right? But we got to go do a couple things up there first before we're done here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to actually connect it up here. Hang on. There we go. Now this is connected, so let's go ahead and say 100 watts, because I believe 100 watts is all we need. We actually need less than that. Yep, see, it's charging the battery. 100 watts is more than enough power to power these two logic readers and to power, to recharge the battery there. And we don't really need this battery in there now, if I'm being honest. We could take the battery out there. It doesn't matter because we're drawing from here, but I'm going to keep that battery in there because it's always a good idea to have a battery in there. In fact, we're actually just going to close this box up now. We're not too concerned about what's going on in there. This one will keep, toggling stuff on and off, but now we can probably just leave it as is. The last thing we need to do is actually go up here. Oh, come on. We're gonna trim this wire off here. Is there any more that needs to be cut? Yeah, we need to cut that one there as well. And we're gonna change this to a 90 here. This is just the future proofing for when we replace these with these advanced solar panels here. They'll go in here and then they'll be able to use the data connection there and track just like these are. But what we need to do is we need to now swap these solar panels here over because they were providing power to this connection because it was you know, we were still doing a legacy thing there. We hadn't completed the transition over to the advanced solar panels here because we needed to put the battery in. So we need to remember to remove the panels here and then rotate them so the power is outputting to the western side here. Like so. So now the power is hooked up to the western side. There's no data connection with these, so the data connection is just going to be unhooked up there. But one day, you know, we might replace these with some advanced. We probably will. But yeah, just like that, we have completed our solar panel renovation here. The advanced solar panels are tracking the sun. They're moving back over because right now the sun is almost 100. You know, it's almost directly under us. I should put it that way. You know, because that's the 180-degree mark. That's 0 degrees. 90 is directly overhead. So it's like negative 90, but it's treated as 90 relative to things. Really, it would be 270, I guess, would be the way to phrase it. But the solar sensor is, you know, the daylight sensor is saying, hey, it's at 180 relative to me. But yeah, we also are now taking that power. We're providing it to the battery here. The battery is outputting it to everything over here. Let's go ahead and just turn this off right now because we're not actually using anything. Alternatively, actually, what we can do, we can close this box up here like so. Again, technically we wouldn't need that battery there, but it's better to have that battery there. Alternatively, we can now turn things off at the transformer, and that can act as a power switch just like the APC can. All right. So we're limiting the power to here so that we don't fry anything. Now, there is one thing, there's a couple things that I also want to talk about here before we proceed. First of all, in the next episode, we're going to get into gases. That's going to be a gas. Yeah, it's not going to be a lot of fun for me because I'm going to have to get into some chemistry stuff here and physics. I mean, we briefly touched on it here with the water and stuff. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. So that's not going to be a lot of fun for me because I'm going to have to try and explain some chemistry and physics related stuff here with that. But putting that aside, we're getting closer to, after that, we're going to look at getting a greenhouse here and growing some food. So then we will have achieved sustainability. We have access to water, we'll have access to food. Then it's going to be actually getting into building a temporary base shelter so that we can get out of our suit. As you can see, we're dirty. It's telling us, hey, you should shower. So I'm looking forward to showering in-game. Hooray. But there's a couple things I want to talk about really quickly here regarding updates to the game. So this game updates, you know, fairly regularly, truthfully. It's rather impressive how often they update this game, considering how long it's been around. And one of the updates that they've done, so if you're just now starting this series and stuff, and you're new to the game, which I'm glad, you know, as I did see a comment there, I don't think I've responded to it yet. If not, I'm sorry. You know, as I should, I'll probably have to double check that I responded to it. I've been getting kind of bad about responding to comments. I apologize for that. But I did notice that someone, I am reading them. I did notice that someone, you know, has found this tutorial helpful and stuff, and they actually took the time to leave a comment, which is great. I really appreciate that. High five to you. I'm glad that you are finding this tutorial helpful. When if you're starting this game now and stuff, you might be spawning with a water tank in addition to an oxygen here. You know, we have the portable gas tank here with air, but you also get a portable liquid tank up there. So you have more supply of water. So this becomes less of a priority in comparison to your power. So you might want to do the power setup before your water there. Or you could save that water for, you know, other things when the time comes. You know, there's a whole bunch of changes that have been done. For example, I completely forgot to mention a very useful you know, thing for your, oh, I've had this on the entire time. There's a cartridge for your handheld tablet. It's called the ore scanner. And you can find it, it's going to be in one of these. It might be the blue one. It might be, it's one of the containers. You will find this cartridge. And if you put it into your handheld tablet, and you turn it on, it will actually help you locate ore. So as you can see, there's actually some ore right under here. I don't want to dig here, though. You know, if we look right here, of course it's going to see some ore because we're right in front of it. But as you can see, there's a fair amount of ore directly under us here. So, you know, and it's pretty close to the surface. So, oh, I don't have the drill with me. It's probably iron. As you can see, it shows some gold here and stuff. So this is a good way of locating ore. And it also gives you somewhat an idea of how far down it is. This is pretty far down over in here. Whereas if we get over to some other stuff here, you know, the brighter it is on the screen and the bigger it is like that, the closer it is to the surface. So this is a very excellent tool for helping you locate stuff, especially when you start saying, hey, I've kind of dug up all the visible veins of ore. But it's also very useful for when you're actually mining, and it's like, okay, have I mined all the copper out of here? So if we pull up the ore scanner, this is pretty well mined out, but it looks like there might be some stuff right in here. And there could be, you know, there's more stuff further down here as well in this direction. So this is a good way of locating ore and helping you find and stay on the veins. So those are 2 updates, you know, to talk about. So as you can see, we got 2 good updates in a sense. We got, you know, you'll get more water when you start a game, and you'll have access to the ore scanner there, which makes it a lot easier for mining in the beginning of the game and throughout the game. There's something later on that you can do to, you know, mining isn't always going to be using your handheld drill there, or a pickaxe if you prefer. There's some other mining tools that you know, once we further advance in the game. The other, you know, so you take the good you get the good updates there, but every once in a while you get a bad update that just leaves you feeling a little bit miserable in the game, like the pipes, the fact that we now have liquid pipes. Yeah, that was not a fun update for me. Or now we're no longer able to split the stacks of ore there. So yeah, you take the bad with the good, or the good with the bad, however you want to look at it there. You get a mixture of both there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and have found it easier to upgrade your power setup and made yourself more sustainable. As you can see, it's already charging again here. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting the like button. Let me know how you're doing in the game, you know, if you find this video helpful and stuff. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Have a great day, everyone.